I have to remember to sit up, you know? Because we're in the apartment studio today, in the annex.
So yeah, you have a tendency, you know, you're home, you're relaxed, you want to like sit back and relax.
I really do. I like these chairs.
They're comfy.
I'm here for this studio. What did our intern say about the home studio? It's a millennial's dream.
A millennial's playpen, a millennial's dream.
A millennial's fever dream.
Fever dream. The fuck? A wet dream? What? Oh.
I feel like someone who works for the Urban Outfitters catalog would fucking create
Someone from the Urban Outfitters catalog would like. Yeah, well, we that was the inspiration, honestly.
It really was. What's the color, by the way? It's like a ginger. It's
pickled ginger.
Pickled ginger.
Lighter salmon that you would think. It sounds delicious, right?
It really does.
And then, of course, we had to have, the neon sign because that's just millennial porn. And then a little candle by Homesick. They categorize love. I just saw a new one for New Jersey. Who the fuck wants a candle that smells like New Jersey? Have you ever been on the New Jersey Turnpike?
I've been to a New Jersey rest stop, and it was one of the dumpiest. I have never seen the saddest human beings. When we were driving, I mean, it was kind of like, where did these people come from?
Where do they come from?
Yeah, from the armpit of the world. It was like, they all were like, they crawled out from underneath someone's armpit, and they were all there. They were like smoking
from underneath
inside.
The bridge. It was inside? Okay, truly the armpit of the earth.
Zero fucks. No one had cleaned up an ounce, and everyone was ordering food. I'm like, who is ordering food from this dump?
Well, sometimes, okay, now, if you are desperado, Les Miserables, you'll go and you'll get a taco.
From a rest stop in New Jersey?
Sometimes
you're trying to die.
I've had one of those. What are the ones that I usually get? I'll get the big hot dogs, and they have the little server station. It sounds disgusting, but if you're hungry, you're hungry.
No wonder your stomach is jacked the fuck up.
No wonder you blow the fuck out of bathrooms.
Go figure. Go figure. Well, look, you guys, it's the Hey Frase podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Sarah, along with AJ. We are doing a special edition. And, I like to say that our podcast is kind of always in motion.
Yes.
We're always trying. AJ's like, yes. I have to hear all your ideas.
I am aware of that.
It truly is. Every week I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's shift to that. Let's do this.
Even though the week before or the day prior, you had a completely other direction you wanted to go.
The next thing we seriously need to do, and it could be Marcus. Here we go. Here we go again. I was going to say the next thing, we actually need a producer. Someone that we can spitball all of our ideas to, but that they actually take it, they make it sensible. They go, this is what you're going to do, and this is what we're going to kind of...
Well, entertainers are creatives, so we don't know where the fuck we're going. We're going one way, the other way. That's why producers, managers, they're the more sensible people that keep you on track. Because we are a loose cannon.
Oh, we're all over the board. All over the board. So anyway, speaking of being all over the board, we thought today we would try something different. So, over the years, over the past couple of months, I've put out things like, what do you guys want to hear more of, from us? And people really tune into the Hey Frase podcast because it's entertaining and inspiring. And people are so inspired by your journey, AJ. You emailed me 2 years ago, and then in 2 short years, you've auditioned for Saturday Night Live. You're moving to New York City. You've auditioned for, other TV shows that you're waiting to hear about. And you were on NBC's Bring the Funny.
So crazy journey.
All from putting yourself out there.
Right.
So, I think people have wanted us to even peel back the curtain more and talk about personal stories. So today we decided to talk about women helping other women. And there's sort of a special place in hell, we feel like, for women that don't help other women.
Honestly, were you made from straight dirt and the devil?
Yeah, but a lot of people feel that way. A lot of people are very jealous. We're in an industry, I've been in the radio business, so have you. I've been in local television. And the entertainment business is filled with very jealous people, men and women.
Men and women. And you'll be put in situations where you have to almost... It seems like you'll get farther if you trample on other women. But we're here to tell you it's the complete opposite.
Oh, it is the complete opposite. And I agree with that. And I'm actually here to even say more than that. And we can kind of elaborate. Mm-hmm. But I feel like we are truly in the time of collaboration.
Yes.
And in a time where social media is getting more and more difficult for brands and businesses to build a following. And for individuals, collaboration is one of the only natural ways.
So true. If you have numbers and the other person has numbers, one person has ideas, if you come together, your audience wants to know that person's audience. It only benefits the two of you.
Exactly. So today on this kind of conversation, we wanted to talk about the women who have influenced our lives. We wanted to share the women who we feel have been very negative towards us or tried to bring us down. And then we also kind of wanted to offer to you guys sort of some insight as to how to find a female mentor and what you can be doing with other women in your industry to not only help them, but help yourself, and sort of how that can kind of heal your relationship, better your relationship. Because lots of times you hear from women too, like, I don't have any female friends.
Those are the ones to watch out for. I'm like, the fuck do you mean? No, I know. They're like, I'm a guy as a girl. And if you are one of those, well, I respect you, but I don't understand.
God, I really felt like that was me in high school.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I used to have, you met two of the guys that I hung out with all the time,
yeah, that's
AJ
true.
and Mike.
That's true.
Mike was my next door neighbor growing up.
Okay.
And then AJ was I was in high school with AJ. And it was really interesting for me. I kind of had, I had a really mean girls experience when I was little.
And sometimes that will deter girls to go towards the guys because there's no drama with guys. Yeah.
Well, and I was a very chubby kid, which I've talked to you about. So back in the day, in the 80s when I was growing up, I was very overweight. The lunch ladies would see me coming and give me double servings.
You're
yes.
lying.
No, I'm dead serious. They thought that my brother and I were so sweet, so they would double up on servings. And my mom...
that is really sweet. You were so cute, though. Like, seriously, like the cutest little butterball.
And my mom always had a theory that, like, they got allotted so much food for school lunches, so they had to dole it out to keep getting it.
And you guys were last in line. They're like, here's the rest to the
like 2 trays.
To the Fraser fam. 2 trays, all for them.
So that, I feel like going back a little bit was probably, I had a couple girls I can remember picking on me like so much when I was like 3rd grade, 4th grade.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so I kind of hung out with a lot of guys in high school. I always was friends with my friend Tia. But then I was oddly attracted to going to an all-women's college.
Which I always find so interesting.
So do I. So
my situation was the opposite. I went to an all-girls high school and then immediately transferred into, the co-ed college.
Okay, so tell me first, tell me about going to an all-women's high school, how you think that impacted you now out in the workforce and your relationships with women. Because you seem like you have a lot of great female girlfriends.
Yes, and a lot of them honestly came from college. But so I went to an all-girls high school because my principal at my grade school, I was obsessed with her. She was the powerhouse. She taught, when the teacher was out, she would go into the classroom and teach that class.
Wow.
As a principal. So she had done everything, and I really admired her. And that was her alma mater, was, Georgetown Visitation in DC. And so I was like, I got to go here. Ended up going there, and I became super confident in myself. I could raise my hand. I wasn't scared of what other girls think. There was no guys there to distract. So, we all dressed in a uniform, which I'm not pushing private schools with uniforms, but I'm just saying that there was no really competition besides grades. Like, the only thing that we were comparing was scholastically and, like, what our grades were, which I think is important, to get into school. But that's my spiel. And then going into college was hard.
I think you did it right, though. I think it's very important. I like the idea of going to a single-sex school when you're in high school, but then when you're in college, you're getting closer to the working world.
Right,
and like Mount Holyoke, where I'm an alum of college, which is all women's, it was great, but it didn't really prepare you for what a workplace environment was. Because
I could see that.
In my business, the craziest part is I found that the men have been the worst.
Oh, yeah. And so when you go to an all-girls school and you're in the classroom, a huge auditorium with your lectures, and girls and guys are answering questions, you feel comfortable. That kind of prepares you for the workplace with men and women.
Yeah.
But so when you were in class, it was just a bunch of girls.
Yeah, I mean, Mount Holyoke, in hindsight, was probably not a good fit for me. Really wasn't, because...
Looking back...
I wanted to be on the radio. I wanted to be a talk show host. It's a liberal arts school. So most of the women there were becoming lawyers, doctors, dentists.
Yes.
And I was like, well, where's the fucking...
did you find yourself at that school?
I have no idea. And then I was like, honestly, and then I was kind of in this area where nobody really partied. Everybody studied. I mean, I had a radio show where I cursed up a storm, and I think, I had like a Sylvia Plath fucking poetic, like, researcher on. Yeah. Like, that was like the biggest guest I could get.
This is riveting, guys. We're really enjoying it today, our guest.
Speaking, like, we're going to do a whole nother podcast on why you should talk to strangers. Ironically enough, one of the first people that ever called into my radio show was my friend Gabriel, who's at our wedding. Yes.
Wait, really?
He's like, you're fucking amazing. He's like, you are totally going somewhere with this. He's like, you're unreal. I just tuned in and I was like, come on down to the radio station.
He could have been a serial killer.
Yes.
But this is why you should take chances. Yeah.
But I had the first mean girl experience. I've had 2 people. I've had a female boss who was terrible, and I actually had a journalism professor at Mount Holyoke. And at the end of the semester, at the end of the year, she asked everybody, what do you want to be? Like, you had a kind of a private meeting with her.
Right.
And I said to her, well, I want to be like the white Oprah. And she's like, Sarah, they do not put fat women on television. And I was like at my heaviest.
Bitch, do you know what Oprah was?
Yes.
She was heavy all throughout her big days, and then she got super skinny, and it just didn't look, you know what I mean?
I think
she was
like
the weight.
It was like 2004 when Oprah was thin for a hot second again. So
she's a healthy size. Fuck that lady. Fuck that lady. Honestly.
I love to tell that story like at Channel 5, because they're always like, have you ever looked her up and told her what you're doing? And
seriously.
I'm like, I feel like someone has to be so miserable
Yes,
to
to
tell
go
a journalism student that.
No, honestly.
Yeah.
You look back now that you're mature and you understand the great what life is, and you're like, I'm over it. Like, there's no reason to go back and seek revenge on her.
So that was kind of the first experience. But tell me tell me a couple of mentors, like female mentors in your life that have been amazing, or women that have just really impacted who you feel like you've become today, and how did you find them?
Well, I've always had an older brother, so looking up to I always wanted to, consider women my older sisters. So I had a lot of older sister cousins and second cousins, and a lot of them loved media, and they were super funny. So that was like my first introduction, I think, as a younger person. Like, I want to be big personality like them. And then throughout school, some teachers I really got close with. But it wasn't until, I think, college that I really liked some of my professors.
Yep.
And of course, none of them I would like to, pick out. But when I came back after working in radio, didn't really like it. It was a really small town. That was Corning, New York. And not that I didn't like the town.
That was your first radio gig in Corning.
My first radio gig right out of college. And I was working with a male co-host, and he was just, those people that just don't believe in change.
Yeah.
He was like, this is my show. I've been doing the same shtick for like 10, 15 years.
This sounds like every radio guy.
Snooze and booze. I was like, dude, no one's going to listen to this show. We need like fun, new stuff. But I didn't want to step on any toes because I was new, and he's looking at me like, what experience do you have?
Is he still employed there?
Still employed there. I actually just had an interview there. I just had an interview. So actually, now he has a female co-host. When I left, she was there. She was new. And so she called me and she was like, we got to have you on the show. That was, long story short. It all comes full circle, right?
Full circle.
So when I came back to DC, my parents just suggested, why don't you reach out to some of the people that you always admired in high school and see if they're still in DC? Guess whose name came up? I immediately thought of Sarah Fraser from Hot 99.5. I listened to you on the radio, and I know so many people tell you this, but truly, like, I would just...
It's crazy.
I would tell my dad, what do you think Sarah's doing today? Like, we would listen to you. My dad doesn't give a flying... He's like, who, what? Like, he's listening to War of the Roses, like, oh, this is funny. But he would drop me off at school. But you made an impact on me, so I reached out to Sarah, and I know we always mention the email, but it's true. Like, I emailed you, and, you emailed back with a lot of advice, and so you've been a huge force. Deborah Alfarone was big when I worked at Channel 9.
Yeah, she's she's actually a great example of a woman, like, helping other women. So open to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's so, I think for me, like I told you, and I say this all the time, like Hot 99.5 taught me so many lessons.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because you don't even really appreciate those until later in life. And seeing our relationship. And it's so funny to me because, I thought I always had really great, strong relationships with men. And then the irony is it's really been like women that have helped me so much, like in my career, Oh, yeah. I'm always amazed by, I always think for us, like, we get the most, like Danny Starr. She's been unbelievable. Tasha K was an awesome guest.
Right.
Angie Ange. Like, I feel like more women actually reach out and want to be on the show than you get men.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
And then women that actually help you.
Oh, yeah. And you can even I look up to some of my friends that are my age because they're so driven. And even though we're in different fields, my best friend is like this Italian fun girl. I met her freshman year of college, and she's the smartest girl I've ever met in my entire life. I'll never be as smart as her. But I mean, we just like really vibed, and she's now in law school at Syracuse. So you can look up to people that are just your same age. And I think that's really important too. And I think everybody has a certain knowledge that you can get out of them. And so never Okay, you're early in your career, but has there been a female in your life that you feel like you've been very competitive with that you were not rooting for? That's a really good question. No. I mean, I've had so many women put me down and say, you'll never make it. And
really?
Oh, yeah.
Who?
Well, in high school, I had a really big person. She was really big in the school. She had a big position. And this is when I was running for presidency. And I had run for presidency in 8th grade, never made it. The really hot girl made it. It's fine. I gave some speech about like Mexicans. And I was like, I was like literally this little Mexican, like, Mexicans should be in power too. What kind of speech is that? All the 8th graders are like, okay. So when I was probably everybody there was white, so there was like the Mexican vote was literally like 2%. It was like you and 4 other people. They were like, yeah, I clearly didn't go with the right speech on that. But so senior year of high school, one of the big like counselors, they were like, you should not. It's not for you. Like, don't ever think that you should run here. Wow. And so I went home and I was like really contemplated that. I even cried a little bit, and I was like, why are they telling me that? I still ran, still won. So there's definitely I've never been competitive with a friend. But I've definitely had women that put me down, and I think you just got to come out of that. Oh. And you know what? You have to get past that. There's going to be some people that aren't your biggest fans, but there's going to be a lot more people that are.
That's really good.
What about
I feel
you?
like recently, well, I used to root for a lot more women.
And then you realize, fuck it. No. Wait, you're going against what we're saying on the podcast here.
I know. No, it's funny. I kind of went
Now
through.
I don't go for anybody.
I would say when I'm at periods of my life, okay, I'm very much, as you know, I'm always in motion, right? Like I always
Right.
have a goal, and I think sometimes, and I my biggest thing is I have too many goals. Like so,
Yes,
it's
yes.
like jack of all trades, master of
Right,
none.
right.
So. When I'm
Yes.
in a space, like I think, a little bit in the past year, because my focus has been on getting married and I really want to have a kid. Like I want to move forward in my personal life.
Don't I know? Yeah. I mean, I was going to stop the podcast just to mention this. By the way, I'm holding this.
Oh, wait.
This is Eat Me Gummy Thong and Bra. As I was choosing a shirt for Sarah in her closet, I happened to cross this Eat Me bra and thong combo.
In the middle of this fucking show, we're taking pregnancy tests. I just took a pregnancy test. I don't even want. My husband will kill me because we literally had this conversation a couple weeks ago
In privacy.
He goes, "Okay, what's our social media plan with you?"
I'm sure he has to ask you that because everything is public with you.
For your pregnancy.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're cool. We're not going to announce it till
Lies.
after the 3-month mark or whatever it is.
Bullshit.
I don't know anything about kids. 4 months? 4 months. Who holds out till 4 months? You're all the way through.
Trimester, isn't that 3 months? Because it goes 3,
okay.
6, 9.
There you go. 3 months. I'm like, we're going to wait. I just want a healthy baby, even though I joke about wanting a daughter.
Yeah, of course.
And it's going to be all good. So he's like, okay, great. What do? We come in here today to record this podcast episode.
Yeah.
I took a pregnancy test this morning. It looked negative to me, like only one line, right? So I was like, what? I ought to take a second one. Second one, there is a faint second line. I'm shitting bricks because I'm supposed to have dental surgery tomorrow and pop like 2 Valiums tonight.
And you had just gotten off the phone with the dentist or whatever, being like, "You're not pregnant, right?" No.
So in the meantime, I've had you take one because we're pretty certain you're not.
Yeah, bitch. First pregnancy test. Imagine what if there's a line up there? Now I'm gonna cry.
Watch yours be like double
the line.
At the end, we'll go grab it.
Okay.
At the end. But no, it's weird. I think when I go through phases of my life where I'm not feeling secure about my career choices or the future, I become very jealous of other women, and like I have to really stop myself because it's like I don't want to see them succeed, or I even like find myself scrolling through social media and not hitting like.
Huge. Yes.
And the other thing that I've wrestled with in the past year in just comparing myself, and so I've had to be really going into my wedding, I think has been a good time for me to reflect because I decided to stop focusing on my career and I was just going to be in the moment of my wedding. Right. And that actually got me out of my headspace to realize that because I'll listen to we love Heather McMahon, right?
Right. Who is, a huge up and coming comedian. She's huge. She's been in the business for a long time, but we're just now seeing the success.
Right. So I'll watch her stuff. I'll watch Betches. I'll watch, so sometimes I'll watch these people and I'll be like, oh my God, I should be doing what they're doing, or I should be that funny. So it's kind of gotten in my head, I think, the social media stuff recently.
Oh, me too.
And I'm like, I don't want to be not rooting for other women, in our business. And, a great example, and Danny and I have talked about that. When I left the Kane Show and Danny came in, there was just, and of course we were rivals because we came back on the radio briefly with Sarah Tyne Mel. And there was just so much shit on Twitter and bickering back and forth. And I really found myself.
The show's accounts or you guys?
Yeah, the show's accounts. The show's accounts. Everybody was talking shit and blah, blah, blah. So I found myself not rooting for her in a really just shitty way.
Right.
But of course I didn't know her. I didn't know her. And she was going through a similar experience that I was having. And, she ends up leaving the show and then we connect. So for me, I have to constantly sometimes, I think, realize, and actually Beanie Feldstein, I think, oh my God, am I saying it right? Beanie's so amazing. She's
Jonah
Hill's sister. And I always want to say it's Beanie Hill, but it's not Beanie Hill.
But I know her name is Beanie, so
Beanie Feldstein,
she's the only Beanie in Hollywood right now. So I think you're safe on that one.
Google this actress Beanie, okay?
She was just in a movie.
I got to host their movie premiere,
which was so cool, and I was pissed.
You were somewhere, right? You were working.
It was in fucking LA. The one time I go to LA, you get to movie premiere
you were
host.
in LA. That's right.
Yeah, that was so cool.
And look, I mean, she's obviously Hollywood royalty, so she's going to get a lot more yeses than other people. But I did think she had a good philosophy, which is she always goes into meetings now, and it's either you want the bean or you don't want the bean.
I like that. You want the V or you don't want the V. You want the P or you don't. I like that.
You want the Frase or you don't want the Frase.
Yeah.
And she basically, she and the other actress that was with her said, they've learned over the years that it's whatever roles you're meant to get, you're meant to get. And
so true.
Somebody else is meant to get it, and it's their time to shine. And celebrating that will end up with more success for you. So I've had to subscribe to that a lot more.
Agreed. And yeah, I mean, we could go on and on about the social media and the comparing, and comparison is the thief of joy.
It
Truly.
really, really is. So how do you get yourself out of that space if you find yourself, because I think it will be interesting for you. You're heading into a very competitive space. You have the heart of gold, which I'm so excited. And
Love you,
you
Sarah.
have such a great base, like very good foundation. Your parents keep you really grounded.
Oh, truly. That keeps me the most humbled. I come from
You'll be taking care of Carol regardless of how much money. Carol will still be calling.
Yes.
Daily.
Yes, I'm very close to my mom. Every day is a new lesson from her. But I think it's just, and I find myself comparing myself to other people, other comedians, and just looking at them. And it's more admiring. And I find myself actually copying what they're doing. And then I have to stop myself and say, no. Like, what is really me? Who am I? And what can I bring to the table that's different? And you just always have to remember, like, how are you different? Because no one else can copy that or can remake that. So I do try to, I find myself comparing. But it's just... I'm a religious and spiritual person, and so I just kind of like go back into that space and say, I don't want to wish negatively on anybody. That's not going to solve anything or help you in any way. But I did want to bring up at one point when I was in radio, my second radio job, when I went to Ocean City, there was a good example of that, of how I had the opportunity to step on a woman. They had brought me in.
Yes, it's not crazy in radio. This is a typical radio story.
And I immediately called you at the time. I mean, you were like really, I had left interning with you to go because they had told me that I had a job in radio, right? They're like, we're giving you a show. This is an amazing opportunity. You can't say no. You'd be dumb to. And I'd be like, you're right. I would be. I was like so young. I am still like, only 25. But at this time, I think it was like, 23 or 22. So they call me and they tell me I have a show. And so I leave. I go for 2 months. They sit me in an office and they're like, you're going to do sales and you're going to learn from the lady who you're going to take the spot from. She has no idea. So when I'm training with her, she's like, so what do you want to do here? I'm like, oh my God.
They brought me in to replace you, ma'am.
But I couldn't say that, right? Like, I looked at her, I was like, oh, fuck. Like, she has no clue. She has a family. She's an amazing, like, teacher while she was teaching me. And I was like, these motherfuckers are going to make me have to tell her the bad news. I was like,
it's such a typical radio. And it's so funny, actually, with you saying that, too, when I was on the Kane Show and they hired Mel. I think we did one interview with Mel, maybe, like, over the phone, because Mel was actually, like, in Tampa and we were here. And maybe we did a second one. Anyway, they had hired Mel before they ever told us,
Wow.
And never sat down with us and said, oh, we're adding another woman or anything. It was just like, oh, we have to scale younger. I mean, meanwhile, at the time, we were all like 28. So
it was same. You're like, what are you trying to say?
But that was a good lesson for me because, of course, Mel and I were so close. So, I always feel like, too, and I see this at TV stations and everything, like there'll be that hot new, like, news anchor or whatever.
Right.
And I always tell people, because I think it's, for other women, it's easy to become jealous of a coworker. It's
Very easy, right.
A competitor. But I always feel like you have to remember they're going to go through all the shit, too.
Yes.
Like, Mel, Danny, myself, and then, working in local TV, none of those women are exempt from all the shit that management is going to do to you eventually.
Exactly.
So you might as well get in there and be real and be vulnerable and become friendly with them. And I do feel like, too, you have to work on your true talents.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was mentioning earlier. Yeah.
Because if you have your true talents, that will always shine, even if it's at, it's not at the workplace that you are currently at. Mm-hmm. But you're right. I mean, trying to keep somebody else down, and even the people that have done that, like the female boss in radio that I had, and she's gone on, to a bigger market than even DC. But, it's like, I always think of her and I think, what a sad existence. And your existence is based on fear, on either trying to crush other women so you can stay there. And it's like, who wants to live like that?
Absolutely. Like, when I watch Devil Wears Prada, one of my favorite movies, it's the exact thing. Like, you either are that person who is killing the other people's dreams, or you're the person who actually has, like, the passion, and which is what we have. And
how do you feel like you support other women now?
If there is anybody who ever asks me for a contact or advice, or like if they're just asking me how I got to where I am, I totally disclose all the information because someone did that for me. You have helped me tremendously, just day to day. You know what I mean? And you never see that as like if I tell her this, she knows my secret. There aren't really secrets. You're just like passing on the knowledge to the next generation.
And I think too, you have to remember there are people that you're not going to trust, or that you can't disclose everything to. People earn your trust. They're not just given that. So it's good to have your guard up with some women, because there are some women that are never going to root for you.
Which is true, and you'll find them along the way.
And even your friends, like you're not there yet, but I mean, as you get older in your 30s, you know, you begin to see friends that don't root for you. That's the hardest thing. Other female
crazy.
friends
Yeah.
that, you know, want to be negative or bring you down or always dumping their shit on you. And you're like, wow, that's hard to break up with too.
That's a whole other, oh my God.
But I think, you know, what I like to do now, and I'm trying to do it more and more, and you see it, I've always wanted to create a show that has brought on a diverse female panel, like
Yes, right.
of real women, because I just get so tired of, I think there's so many podcast shows and so many television shows where it's like all white women, or it's all like black women, or it's all, you know, and it's, to me, I'm always like, I have a whole mixed group of friends. Like, I want to.
Oh yeah, we take Sarah around. We're like, you're a diverse. At one point, we had
Got
only
Asian
Hispanics.
friends.
We had, literally, we had only Hispanic team, and we're like, what did you see
Only
something in us?
Hispanic.
Yes, yeah. Now we still have a mix. Yeah,
love surrounding myself with diverse people, and that's what I wanted to always tune in with a show.
it's so
Our-
true.
our
And
intern
then
is
all of
laughing.
her younger
What-
friends came for the bachelorette party. I'm like, I'm seeing a trend here. You're all Asian. Like Sarah has this like full mix.
I love who the
It's
fuck
so good.
wants to hang out
Oh,
with
I know.
just people in their race. I'm like, I want to hang out with all kinds of
All
women
kinds
from
of people.
different backgrounds, like hear their whole things. But I'm trying to give women too more shine on social media, on the podcast. I always try to make time to like help another woman and say like, look, this is what you can do for your business. So I think if you're stuck, and the thing that I've had to learn over the past year when I've had jealous moments of other people,
Right.
when I'm stuck, it's like do something good for somebody else. Get out of
Exactly.
your way and start giving to somebody else.
Yes.
Because that will shift you out of your mentality.
Yeah, Deborah Alfarone, she always says, get the fuck out of your own way.
Get the fuck out of it, because we
Yeah.
get in our headspace so much. And
Yeah.
of course, you know, I feel like with us kind of playing around with a deeper dive in some of these topics, you know, I can't stress it enough, but I really feel like you have to go to therapy.
I keep on saying that. That's like one of the things that I keep on saying.
You're going to, like, as you make more money and
Right.
as you get bigger.
Straight from the so honest. That's why I love you.
I
But once you
nurture
have more money.
dreams. I don't pay for them. Okay. That's another motto. Hey, Fresh. We nurture dreams. We don't
And
pay
Seth
for
was
them.
like,
You need to foster it. AJ is it. Like, AJ is the person that.
Oh, and here I have been shitting on Sethy all these years. Hey, Sethy, I love you.
We've been trashing on the dome light.
Trashing on the dome. No, I love the dome. I wanted to see the dome at the wedding, but I digress.
You'll come again. You'll
Yeah.
come up again.
Oh, good. Another
But-
10-hour trip. Yeah, can't wait.
Remember when you drove all night? That was fucking crazy. When you texted me, girl, when you
2
she had
5-hour
left
energies
at
later.
7 fucking p.m. from Washington D.C. was going to make it to me. I was like, sister, you're
Have
pulling in
fun.
here on fumes. But you did it. You
We
came
did
here.
it. We rolled
but
in.
he really was like, oh my God, she's amazing. And you're no drama.
awesome.
Your work ethic is insane. You're unbelievably talented. There's just, and you. I think sometimes you can't teach this, and you've seen this. We've had other interns that are either good on air or they're not. You can't teach
Right.
this. But people either get the comedy and co-hosting, because co-hosting is about chemistry. It's an ebb and
Right,
flow.
right.
You have to be friends with the person. And
You definitely do.
We just like adore each other. You
No,
know?
it's so true. Yeah, I wasn't trying to get every compliment out of Sarah.
No,
but,
it's
but
really the truth.
just no. But I totally see what you're saying. And the chemistry, we can do another show about that. But like, it definitely didn't come overnight. At first I was scared about stepping on your toes, and I never wanted to talk over you. But then you start spending time with the person, and you kind of just see that chemistry come out naturally.
Oh
and
yeah,
that's
we'll
what
do
we've
a show on
created.
that. Do you want to go check your pregnancy test? Like, bring over the pregnancy
Oh.
test. Here, I'll hold.
You want to
oh,
grab that, Marcus?
is-
Our
okay.
intern?
Is it in the trash can?
No. It's the one on the book.
Our poor intern has.
I know he's
touched
done
a lot
it
of
all.
our pee.
He was ready to take a pregnancy test for us. He was like, but then we weren't sure about male hormones versus female hormones. Give us the verdict.
Well, we knew that. Yeah.
So-
you're not. Pregnant.
I'm not-
What?
wait,
okay,
okay.
wait a second. Is it a drastic difference from mine?
Yeah.
What?
Don't you think?
Oh my God.
Okay, so we were confused because there was a faint line on Sarah's.
I
You
don't.
think there's no line?
There's absolutely no line on mine.
Okay. Oh my God. Do you mind
There is
going to get
no
my
line.
piece?
No. There's yours.
You guys, there is
I
absolutely
think
no
it's
line
the,
on mine.
Isn't it on the side of the trash or something, or is it there?
So there's only
Do you think it'd be fun to text Schmiggy this just for fun?
Oh my God, you should totally text Schmig. Marcus, our intern, went to get the other. Oh my
gonna
God,
get
he's
the
got the whole
trash,
trash. Oh my God, he's got the whole trash. Okay, this is one of mine. Okay, this one does have a faint line.
There's just some toilet
Okay, wait.
paper and a lot of hair in here.
Okay. See,
a lot of hair. Hon, you don't have
I
to
cut
do
my
that.
bangs
You
before
really
the show.
We have another rock star intern on our hands.
Yeah, this is the other one. This also.
Anyone who's willing to touch pea sticks
Oh my
after
God,
women
he
pee on 'em?
jumps right in.
He does.
He jumps right in.
using
Okay,
this
wait,
as
let's see yours. Let's see yours
And then-
compared.
Yeah.
Oy vey. Oh, fuck. This is really not good.
And it's also funny because Marcus was saying you can't. There's no varying degrees of
No,
being
they
pregnant.
really are
Degrees of
different.
being
There are no
Yeah.
degrees of being pregnant, yet Sarah has a faint line where I have none.
you
You
know?
are or you're not. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, we've got to go because I've got to go buy another more expensive one.
I was going to say, no. So the first question of Schman was like, where did you purchase this? You were like, the drugstore.
CVS. He's like, he like Googled the reviews. He was like, there's a 1 star. They get a bunch of false positives.
False positives.
Oh,
yeah, that's
God.
never good. But both of yours look the same. Mine looks totally not. There's no faint line.
I'm really looking here. Can someone get me my glasses?
We need the prescription glasses here. We're schwitzing over here.
We are schwitzing. Look, we hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Right.
You can follow Andrea Lopez Comedy.
That username is here to stay.
At Hey Frase. That one's going to stay.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you guys, though. Do you how are your relationships with women? Have women helped you in your career, hurt you in your career? We would love to know. So you can always email Sarah at HeyFrase, or it's Andrea, Andrea, at HeyFrase.com. And you can, CC us both, whatever you want to do. We also want to remind you, we have a crazy GoFundMe going right now. And it's Invest in Alien Stock, Hey Frase Podcast. We have $200.
Hilarious. It could be more. When's the last time you checked?
Actually, I haven't checked. It could be
more.
more. We want you to donate $1. Look, it's insane. We're going out to storming Area 51. We know it's batshit crazy. We're hoping you guys can buy us a tank of gas. And we kind of want to take you with us because we know you have probably a government job where you're,
not really allowed to go and you don't want to risk your life. Yeah.
So put up $1. It's just for fun. And then we're going to send you photos and stuff and reports from the desert.
Super fun.
And then, of course, September 13th, you can join us for a pop-up podcast at Progressions. It's a $25 reservation fee, but you get that back in a gift card that you can use. Progressions Salon Spa Store is in North Bethesda, a.k.a. Rockville. We love Cindy, who owns it. So September 13th, it starts doors open at 5:30. Drinks, light bites, tons of giveaways. We're going to be doing a pop-up podcast. So stop by, have a cocktail with us on your way home.
Of course.
All right, Mama, we're out of here. What a
We're
great
out of
show.
here.
Oh, my
it was
God.
amazing. You guys, seriously. And I really do love hearing from you. We both do. I love hearing your stories and all your experiences. Support everybody, but especially your friends, women. Don't put anybody down. It only comes back.
Yes,
It always comes back tenfold.
Tenfold.
Seriously, it does.
All right, we're out of here. Tapping mics.
Tapping
Bye, honey.
mics. Bye.